Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and I'm finally back with a new video. And today's video is going to be the continuation of the 2000 series, where I rank my 10 favorite movies from each year in the 2000s. So these are just like my personal favorite horror movies from each year, basically. So in today's year is 2005. Some people would say that 2005 is one of the weaker years in horror in general, but I still think there's some really great gems that were released in that year as well in general. So, but anyway, let's continue, or like let's start with the video, or right off the way. Damn, I can't speak today. So let's see here. Number 10, we have a rather obscure film which I don't really hear a whole lot of people talk about, but I think it has to be that it's probably not really easy to come across. Because I was just very lucky when I found this for sale, and I obviously decided to buy it. And it is the Japanese horror movie called The Last Supper. And I mean, just based on this front cover out here, you can basically tell that this is going to be like a cannibal film. It has like a, I mean, I'm not sure if it's meant to be, but I mean, I remember I thought this was a really funny and really like, in a sort of like a very, very dark humor type of way. I'm not really sure if that was like the real like intention of the film. But I mean, they succeeded nonetheless, and great blood and gore effects, pretty violent for what it is. I mean, it's not like super violent, anything like that if you compare it to other movies in the same genre, but has a nice atmosphere to it as well. I don't really know what else to say about it, but I just don't want to spoil it. But if it sounds like something you might enjoy, go give this one a watch. I think this is very underrated. So yeah, The Last Supper at number, let's see here, at number 10. Yeah, of course. What else? Let's see here. I'm just going to move things away right here. Then at number 9, we have a movie which, I mean, some people would say, is this really a horror movie? I mean, it's technically more of a comedy movie, more so than horror movie, but I would still say it has enough horror elements to it to even, to still call it a horror film. So at number 9, we have Santa's Sleigh with wrestler, what's his name? Goldberg. What is his name? Bill Goldberg, that's his name. And Robert Culp is also in this one, who plays like the old grandfather in this one, who I think is really fun as well. And this one is, I mean, this, like I said before, this is more of a comedy film than more so than like a horror film. But it has so many funny one-liners. I mean, sometimes when it comes to like horror comedies, it feels like some of the one-liners seems to be very forced and very like unfunny in general, but I mean, in this one it really succeeds. And the opening sequence, I mean, this has to be one of the funniest like opening sequences to a horror film that I've ever seen. Like the whole like dinner scene, if you've seen the film, you pretty much know what I'm talking about. So if you do like some really dark humor, once again, I mean, we're gonna tie in with the other film. So if you do like dark humor, this is definitely the film for you. This is a really nice like complement to Silent Night, Deadly Night. While Silent Night, Deadly Night is more of a serious type of like slasher horror film, while this one is almost like the comedy version of that. I know it's weird to say because Bill Goldberg's character is basically, he's Santa, but he's like, he has like this weird curse where he really needs to behave like in like 200 years, and now that bad is off, and now he's off to being like bad again, basically. So he basically has like this, yeah, I don't want to say too much about the film if you haven't seen it, but very entertaining, really funny. I mean, yeah, it isn't very long either. It's only like 1 hour and 15 minutes, so it's very short as well. So yeah, funny film, really entertaining. Yeah, I usually watch that from time to time during Christmas time, so yeah. Now let's see here. Then we have another one of these like Off the Dead movies, and so at number 8 we have George Romero's Land of the Dead, which I have to admit I haven't seen this one in quite a while. But I would still say this is one of the better ones. Obviously not as good as Night of the Living Dead, not as good as Dawn of the Dead, or even like Day of the Dead. But I would still say that this is better than Diary of the Dead and Survival of the Dead. I think Diary of the Dead is my least favorite because, I mean, I didn't really like that whole, I mean, the found footage style to that film in general. I mean, in that case, I'd rather like rewatch Rec 1 or Rec 2 instead of watching Diary of the Dead, to be fair. But this one is definitely one of the better ones in his later years, like in George Romero's later years. I just think it's a little bit unfortunate that Survival of the Dead, well, I think was the last one he directed, and that one obviously has its flaws as well. I mean, especially when it comes to some of the CG in that film. But I don't hate it as much as many other people do. Now I completely go off track here talking about the other films, but This one has a nice cast in it as well. It has Dennis Hopper in it and Asia Argento, and I think it's also Luigi Samo. What's his name? I can never pronounce his name. Damn it. John Luigi Samo. Luigi Samo. Yeah, sorry, butcher his name. But yeah, entertaining zombie film. I mean, pretty much like great like practical effects in this one as well. So yeah, Land of the Dead. Don't have that many complaints about that one. Now, when I talked about Santa's Sleigh being barely even a horror film, you can sort of say the same thing about the next one, because I mean, some people would say this is more of a full-blown like pretty much like an action film more so than like a horror film. But I would say this is definitely one of these like survival films, because if the Resident Evil films are considered horror films, I would definitely say this next one is also considered a horror film, in my book at least. So at number 7 we have Doom with Carl Urban and The Rock. And when it comes to this film, I mean, I do like all of the acting in this one except for The Rock's acting. I think his acting is absolutely atrocious, but then again, he's not very well known for his acting, isn't he? But this one is still a movie that I really enjoy. I mean, if you like summarize everything about this film, I think it's the whole survival aspect of this film, when like these soldiers basically like gets picked off one by one. I really like that whole like setting to the film and the whole claustrophobic sequences in this one. And the first person's view in this film, which appears later on in the film, is actually pretty fascinating and interesting to see in like a feature-length film, because it almost feels like you're inside of a game at one point as well in that sequence. So I thought that was really cool. Really nice soundtrack as well. I believe there's like some like Nine Inch Nails songs in this one as well. Yeah, I really enjoy this one. I mean, I know it gets lots of like crap from time to time, but I mean, this is a funny like popcorn flick. I mean, this is not a movie that you're gonna like. It's just not a movie that's gonna win any prizes anytime soon. But yeah, I really like the survival aspect of that one. So yeah, Doom. So let's see here. I can already see people complaining about this film that it's only like at number 6, but I mean, this is just my personal opinion. So at number 6 we have The Descent right here by Neil Marshall, who is probably most famous for directing this one and Dog Soldiers probably. I do prefer Dog Soldiers over this one. I'm not saying that this is a bad film, because this is once again a film that has great atmosphere, and once again when it comes to claustrophobia, this is just like, if you're afraid of claustrophobia, or like if you have claustrophobia, this is like your worst nightmare come true, basically. So it's basically about these ladies that they are out like out in the wild, and they find this cave, or like this like underground. I don't know what to call it really, but I mean, it's like a huge cave basically. And yeah, surprise, surprise, there's something else down there as well. Great, once again, survival aspect of this film. Great cinematography, great music. I really remember that the music was really great in this one as well. And I think pretty much every single one of these characters are very likable as well. And that's when you know you've made a really great film, because sometimes when you watch some of these films, some of the characters can be a little bit annoying or obnoxious, especially when it comes to like survival-esque type of horror movies. But yeah, The Descent is great altogether. I mean, I have seen the sequel as well. It's not as good as the first one. It's okay, but I mean, it's nowhere near as good as the first one. Now, the reason why this is only like a number 6 is sometimes it comes down to the fact that some movies that I've seen more times than others, and that doesn't necessarily mean that this is a weaker film, but it's just like how many times I've rewatched the film, basically. So, but I mean, The Descent, nonetheless, it's an amazing film. So yeah, The Descent at number 6 right there. So yeah. And at number 5, we have the movie which I would say is probably one of the best Australian horror movies of all time. And I remember I watched this back in the day, and I thought the performance by this guy is just great. I'm going to get to that eventually. But at number 5, we have the first Wolf Creek movie right here. And I remember I saw this, like, this specific cover art I saw, like, in the video store back in the day. And, I mean, this is basically about, like, this girl here on the front. And I'm not really sure if you can see it, but for some weird reason, I thought that she didn't really have any eyes left. Like, if you just look really close right there, it almost looks like someone has just plucked out her eyes. I mean, that's not the case, but it looked like that on the front cover. And ever since I saw the front cover of this film, I was like, what is this film about? I mean, this cover is kind of like a spoiler as well, but I mean, yeah, hey-ho, I mean, I think most people, like mainstream horror fans, have already seen this film. But I mean, Mick Taylor, that character portrayed by John Jarrett, is one of the most creepy like performances. I mean, when it comes to these type of characters, I mean, this is pretty much tied with Henry portrayal serial killer. Like Michael Rooker's performance in that film is really like similar to this guy. I mean, this is same type of like creepiness to it. Um, and it's based on true events as well, or at least inspired by true events by this guy, Ivan Milat, I believe his name was, who, yeah, I think he passed away at this point in the prison. But yeah, this one, the one thing that really makes me really appreciate this film as well is that it becomes more disturbing and more messed up, mainly, not necessarily mainly because it's like the most disturbing thing, like if you compare it to other like horror movies, but I mean the score and the music to this film really adds to the creepy vibe to this film and the really disturbing atmosphere to this film. So the soundtrack to this one, I don't remember who did the score for this one, but the score is what really helps this film forward, in my personal opinion. And obviously, all of the other things as well are really great as well. It's great cinematography, great locations, really good acting. Yeah, there's not that many things that I can complain about. Now, this specific release right here, I think is just the bog standard like theatrical release, because the director's cut, I believe, has extended scenes to it, which I have seen, but I think I did pick up another release of this film which had all of those scenes included in the like within the feature length film basically. So I like those scenes as well. I kind of wish they kept those for the theatrical release as well. But yeah, I mean that's the reason why you sometimes pick up the director's cut from time to time. So, but anyway, Wolf Creek, great. I do like the sequel as well. I mean, there's been talks about making a third one. I'm not really sure if that's still a thing or if that's still in development or whatever. But Wolf Creek, yeah, great film. And very creepy as well. So I mean, actually a pretty damn scary film, especially since it's like based on true events as well. So yeah. Now on number 4, we have the other like cave movie, and it is the movie called The Cave. And I mean, most people would probably say that, oh, you're just full of shit because The Descent is a much better film than The Cave. I think this comes down to the fact that I've seen this movie more times than The Descent, and I don't say that The Descent is a weaker film or anything like that, because I really like both films. But I think this has more nostalgic value for me personally. I mean, once again, it has like that survival aspect of the film, which I really enjoy. Very similar to The Descent, which is quite fascinating since they came out in the same year. And I believe The Descent did really well, and this one really flopped, I believe, which is a little bit unfortunate because I really like the locations in this one as well. I think they made this one in, I can be totally wrong about this, but I think they made most of the film in Romania, I believe. So there's some really great looking locations on mountains and whatnot. Good acting from time to time. I mean, I would probably say The Descent probably has better acting in general. I mean, there's some good actors and actresses in this one as well. But I mean, as a whole, I think probably The Descent has a better acting quality to it. But this one, nonetheless, I love the survival aspect of this film. I like the weird creatures. I mean, the creatures kind of reminded me of the Predator in a little bit of a weird way, but or maybe like a mix between Predator and Alien in a way. It's weird to describe, but if you have seen this film, you probably know what I'm getting at. But I mean, yeah, The Cave in general, I really enjoy this one. I think it's mainly because of the whole survival aspect of this film. Like people gets picked off one by one, basically. So yeah, The Cave, really entertaining film. Just don't lynch me for this. It's just my personal opinion. So I still acknowledge that The Descent is probably the better film. It just comes down to the fact that how many times I've rewatched some of these films. So yeah. So number 3, we have the movie that probably gave birth to the entire like torture porn type of like. Can I even say that on YouTube anymore? Well, whatever. I don't care anymore. Anyway, at number 3, we have the original Hostel film right here. And once again, this is another cover that I saw back in the day. I was like, whoa, this looks really, really gnarly and really grim. And I love the fact that it says like, it like warns people like right here, like it's like warning sign right here, like for like explicit like scenes and whatnot. I think it's quite fascinating how Eli Roth came up with this entire idea, that he kind of researched on the internet and he found some, I don't really remember which country he was referring to or anything, because obviously it wasn't the Slovakia, because I mean I know for a fact that Slovakia or like that the country obviously didn't really like this film because they didn't really do well for it for the tourism in that country, and I totally understand that. But I mean, some of these characters, they're really obnoxious. I mean, you don't care too much for them. I mean, in general, I mean, you really start to feel sorry for them after a while, once they kind of like arrive to Slovakia. After a while, it's weird to say, but I mean, it's fascinating because this is once again something that feels like it could happen in some like distant country somewhere. Obviously not Slovakia, but some other country. It has that type of vibe to it, that it probably exists somewhere in the dark abyss or where that we can't really see about, like behind closed doors, if you could call it that. Great blood and gore effects, really nice vibe to this film. I really like the soundtrack. The score once again is great. Almost has a weird retro score. It's weird to say weird retro score because it's sort of like reminding me of some like 50s 60s horror music. It's weird to say, but I mean, that's what I get from some of the score for this film. This one also has different types of endings. I mean, I do prefer the theatrical ending because the other ending, I'm not sure if there was like a director's cut ending or something, but I mean, that other ending I did not like at all. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense in my personal opinion. I mean, it's okay, but I'd still say the theatrical ending is the best way to go when it comes to this, or like that particular version. And you also have like this really cool like cameo by Takashi Miike as well, the Japanese director. In this one, he shows up for a small little portion of this film, which I thought was really fun. And I would say this one is the best one in this entire like series, because I remember I just despised Hostel 2. Not necessarily because the entire film is like terrible or anything like that, because there's some really great sequences going on in that film as well. But I hated the fact that how much that film kind of destroyed the legacy of the original one, if you get what I mean. For those of you who've seen those films, I actually do prefer Hostel Part 3 over Part 2, just because Hostel Part 3 is sort of like its own type of film, and it doesn't necessarily ruin the first movie, basically. So, but anyway, Hostel, yeah, I enjoy that film. So yeah, at number 3. And at number 2, we have this one. I love this film. I love the characters. I mean, you kind of love to hate them in a way, because they're really like anti-heroes. If you can even call them heroes, it's weird to say, because they do really terrible things. But it's The Devil's Rejects right here at number 2, with Bill Moseley, Sherry Moon Zombie, and rest in peace Sid Haig as well, he was an amazing Captain Spaulding. And I really wish no one really tries to remake any of these films, because I mean, these actors were really born for these roles. And I know some people don't really like the dialogue when it comes to some of these like Rob Zombie films, but I mean, they're meant to be like that. And yeah, I had the pleasure to meet Bill Moseley at this sci-fi convention a couple of years ago, and he actually did sign this one right here. I'm not sure if you can see it right there, but yeah, really cool film altogether. I mean, these characters are just, you kind of love to hate them, like I said before, because they do terrible things. And some people are having like this criticism, like, oh, well, I don't care about these characters because they are horrible people. But I'm like, well, they're meant to be. But yeah, some really nice, funny, like dark humor to this one as well, which I really appreciated. And you have like horror legends such as like, what's his name? Hills of Eyes. What's his name? Michael Berryman. I completely blacked out what his name was. And you also have William Forsythe as this like sheriff who is absolutely insane, and I love his performance as well. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, but I mean, I enjoy this film. Really cool, almost like exploitations, like 70s exploitation vibe to this film, which I really enjoy. So yeah, Devil's Rejects at number 2. And at number 1, we have a sequel, actually. Well, I mean, Devil's Rejects is basically a sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses as well, so you can do that what you will. But at number 1, we have Saw 2 right here, which is signed by Tobin Bell, which you can barely even see that on the screen or whatever, but Steelbook edition right here with lots of special features and whatnot. I think this one is probably my favorite Saw movie out of them all, mainly because I feel like the first film is sort of like, I mean, I do really enjoy the first couple of Saw films in general, but I feel like the first one doesn't really have the same type of rewatchability to it as the second one has, because I think in general I do prefer the. Do I really prefer the? Anyway, I feel like this one is more rewatchable than the first one. because this one has like this, once again, survival aspect to this film, many more characters, because most of the first film takes place in that bathroom or whatever, and it tends to get a little bit boring from time to time. But this one kind of mixes it up with other characters that you grow to either despise or really enjoy. Enjoy, that sounds weird to say, but people you like and dislike, basically. So yeah, I really enjoy this film altogether, and I think the third one is a really nice follow-up to this one as well. After that, I kind of feels like it goes off the rails after a while, especially after part 4. But anyway, Saw 2 altogether, I think this is an amazing film, and I can watch this so many times without getting bored. And this is probably the one that I've watched the most times as well, because I find it has much more rewatchability than pretty much every single other film in this series. So yeah, Saw 2 right here. So yeah. So that's my number 1. Anyway, this is it. That's it for the entire video, like my top 10 favorite horror movies from 2005. And keep in mind, this is just my personal opinion. So if I would like rewatch these films, if they would probably land in other type of places on the list, basically. Like I said, like The Descent, I haven't seen in quite a while, and I haven't seen Land of the Dead in quite a while either. So if I would rewatch those, they would probably maybe be even higher up on the list. But I hope you enjoyed this little video. Have you seen any of these films? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Did I miss out on any movies that came out in 2005 that you would recommend to me? Please let me know in the comment section. I'm really curious to hear about your guys' opinion and like your recommendations in general as well. And yeah, give it a like, whatever. I mean, subscribe to my channel if you want to. And yeah, keep your eyes open for the next video. I'm gonna try to prioritize these like 2000s videos, because it's been a lack of those in quite a while, I would say. So but anyway, hope you enjoyed this particular video, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.